not match the pace of H2K early on.
And that was also facilitated by the fact that Jankos and Vander actually decided to play League of Legends. They rocked up earlier than 30 minutes. Vander in particular, I really respected those flash engages despite the fact they didn't always net kills. Just the message and the signal and the psychological threat it imposes sent big messages. No pivots from the previous game yet. Zed and Italy Echo. Lucian, Azir, and Ryze were the last game's bans.
And you mentioned, how Jankos and Vander performed, and thankfully we saw a game of them performing. On the other side, Spirit and Klaj for a very long time in that game had 100% of the deaths. Right up until that mid-inhibitor tower was going down, it was only those two that really got picked off. And here's something I was perhaps expecting later on in the series, and it is coming out now from Fnatic. That Lissandra ban. Take away the strongest blue side flexing mid laner, and you can just, or not flexing, sorry, blind mid laner, and you can really hamstring an aggressive team.
For sure, and I was expecting to see the Lissandra maybe earlier as well.
Yeah.
And the Twist of Fate was the one that Fnatic were banning away, so there could be a chance that we see it out here, but we just haven't seen it from H2K because everyone's banning against them. So is it as magical as people assume?
Well, I am yet to see that coming out. Trevor, you alluded earlier, perhaps there's some secret info from scrims that we do not have, the privileged spot to get the information.
The privilege to watch.
Yeah.
I like that term. But the Lucian is banned again. Definitely don't want to give that to Febiven. It is his most played champion by far, and obviously the utility that it offers in the current meta and the versatility that it just fits into so many comps. So H2K taking their time. Last time around they went down to 60 and Jankos, the man on your screen, he just locked in Kindred anyway.
It's probably going to be Kindred again.
It feels like it would.
It's not been banned.
I don't think you need to change it. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. Even though it lost to, the actual pick and ban priority has been fine for that Kindred first pick.
Very serious discussions there between Jankos and Prolly. Bouncing back and forth. You see, I don't mind the discussion. I don't even mind using the time because you add some, what else could they pick? What did we expect? Did we expect the Lissandra ban? It's something that H2K will have had to have answered in their team comms right now.
Yeah, and I mean, it does, however, give Fnatic a little bit more time to talk, but still at the same time, there was no surprise. I mean, Fnatic would have been sat there going like, so what is the 1% chance they don't pick Kindred? Like, what do we do if that happens? And Fnatic now, will they go straight back to the drawing board and look for other options here? Now, I normally don't like to talk hovers, but Corki is an integral one, not only for H2K, but flex picking as well. If you ever watch an LCK Champion Select, Corki has very high priority still because of its ability to play both mid and AD carry. We see it a lot more in the AD carry role here in Europe than we do in mid lane, but it is still a decent blind pick if it comes to it.
And that's exactly what happens. So maybe Fnatic taking a page out of the LCK book with Corki and Alistar being picked up.
And that's the thing, is they've got the counter pick. It's the fourth game, the same situation. They can always switch up in the last pick should they choose to.
We'll find out what they decide to do. For H2K, they've got now Respawn. Options for the mid lane, knowing it could be Febiven's Corki, it could be Rekkles' Corki. I actually was not a major fan of Fnatic playing Corki over the last few weeks, when they picked it up at IEM and in the subsequent weeks. It just felt like the timing window to really take advantage of the pick just wasn't used super effectively, so we'll see if Fnatic have learned anything in the week since then.
It was just those repeated nerfs to Corki, like patch after patch after patch. So a couple seconds remaining. Is it gonna happen? Yes, it is!
Well,
trap card activated, question mark.
Or curveball that now manages to, get you that strike out.
Question mark.
But the question marks are around, especially as H2K, we saw just some random ults coming out from Febiven where they just would miss time. So we'll see if he's improved on the Sivir this week.
And that rotation of Sivir Maokai would be the default golden, we wish we could get it red side LCK duo all the time. It's something that is so heavily prioritized over in that region. But what does Gamsu run into it? Echo is banned away. Trundle could be an option. We've seen it run a bunch of times in the past. And with Alistar locked in, no real surprises here.
Yeah, again, Trundle now going to be picked up for that lane matchup, and now comes the flex. Does it leave us in a situation where Rekkles, now that he's got some earlier game presence from the Corki, does he just go the Ezreal here and look for a scaler, look for something that can have presence later in the game? I think it's highly dependent now on what Ryu wants to run.
Yeah.
I'm having visions of Ryu picking LeBlanc here. I'm going to say it. because that's the kind of comp H2K were running last week. And the Lissandra is off the board, so that's one of the really good matchups, you know, that Lissandra can do into LeBlanc, because he can never kill her. Lulu's available for Fnatic should they want it. If it's a LeBlanc, I am running ahead of myself, but H2K certainly have to find something that Ryu is comfortable with and is blind pickable.
Rules not the twist. So could just be Ryze, because like you speed up with. Hey, this is a very similar composition to what we saw in like what game 2, game 1, when we were like, you could just fit a Sivir into that.
Now, will it be the Cassiopeia that we've started seeing in other regions? I only bring that up.
Melzaha. That's what I want. That's what I want.
I only bring that up because we have seen it in other regions. We've seen Faker play it. And of course,
played everything.
Yeah, that's true.
Odoamne played Tam Kenchman.
I mean, Febi can certainly play it because we saw Fnatic flex it last year when they had Huni as well. He flexed it top and tilted people forever.
Yeah. Well, the question is, what would you expect? Febiven has got a lot of time to run this clock down. They can either opt into an AD carry. If they wanted to run some poke, maybe a Varus, that would be very different style than what we've seen for Fnatic play. Couple seconds left, and it is the Cassiopeia.
Locked in. There's a scaling component, a lane matchup that Febiven's going to want to favor, and this is going to bring a lot to the table for Fnatic. Land one ultimate, you set up a team fight, incredibly strong, but what this will not allow them to do is control the second side wave. So now the team fight perhaps switches over to some aspects of Fnatic with that petrifying gaze, but it's a difficult one to land, and H2K still want to keep moving forward.
Well, Fnatic won the first 2 games of the series without a teleport mid laner. And if they do not go even, the number of tools that H2K can use to punish with Maokai, Ryze, Sivir is terrifying. So there is no room for error here on the Fnatic squad.
Have H2K learnt though with double TP, because we didn't see that in the first 2 games, and they really need to leverage that in this game. This time, however, they do have the Sivir to make it easier to get into those fights. But yeah, I'm really excited to see Febiven on Cassiopeia. He can really flex those mechanical muscles.
He's going to have to, because this is a matchup that he also has to dominate in the mid lane with. See the coaches on stage, they're shaking hands as Prolly and Daylor make their way off stage. Cameraman has a little bit of fun with that one.
Hey, I mean, we're preparing, though, for... also, remember, everybody, after this, we're going to be heading over to Las Vegas. We'll see which team from America is going to be staring at the lights, maybe knocked out on that. We'll see who's going to win, though, here first. That's the all-important one.
That is the important question for right now, and one that you guys have to answer. Who are you supporting? It is game 4 as H2K and Fnatic once more load up onto the Rift. Cast your votes. Let us know who you think will be victorious. Can Fnatic close this game out?
Yes, hashtag H2K win or hashtag FNC win. I want to hear your thoughts on how this one is going to turn out, because it's still match point. H2K 1 loss away from being secured into 4th place.
And this is perhaps one of the oldest counter matchups, I would say. Not that Ryze is completely 100% out of the game now because of the Cassiopeia. Difficult matchup for Ryze. Very old setup here. We saw it last year come out. We've seen it years ago come out. Even before Cassio was reworked, it was the case as well. So certainly is one I want to see from Febiven. A lot of damage, sustained damage in fights. Pretty much even more so than Ryze. I mean, we look at mages that can output sustained damage. Certainly one of the best.
Yeah, he's gated a little bit now because he can only have those 5 skills. And then Cassiopeia, she's never going to stop twin-fanging you, especially when she has a couple items. So yeah, in terms of sustained damage, definitely going to outputting that. And it's, of course, all about the petrifying gaze as well, if she can land that against multiple targets.
Just how well can H2K dodge on this low ping environment? Those little cheeky side steps just change the direction of vision and all of a sudden change the outcome of a team fight. We've not really mentioned the early game shenanigans. No deep wards placed by either team, no invades at all, and Australia lanes is the name of the game. Fnatic were up there waiting, and H2K ready to receive both Rekkles and Klaj. Oh, damage bonus Forgiven.
Got him. That's now the setup here. What that does mean, though, is Forgiven doesn't have that Q available for the next couple of seconds on the wave, so for the actual push. But look at how Fnatic have conceded. They want to go drop back to Krogs.
Deathfire touch as well for Febiven in the mid lane. There's the pickup there. We'll be harassing away and constantly getting damage over time. And also Twin Fangs being single target. And Vander, he's trying to interrupt. Let's give him a go.
Yeah, not the first time either. Who will get the Krug? That is the question of the day. Watch the HP.
Got a block,
They're blocking it.
Fight.
Yeah.
Well done. Mana expended though.
But Klaj took a lot of damage there as well. Now, he is Alistar. That means with his heal, he's going to have to heal it up. He's going to have to utilize his mana now to exchange for that. Febiven steps forward and gets hit.
And I want to take a look at Febiven's build path, because we were talking about his Sivir build, and he has in the past gone for that Infinity Edge first a lot.
Yeah, and when he does do that, it really hinders his ability to fight. He runs out of mana so quickly in fights. We were watching some of the fights he'd come into with that Sivir ultimate and be like, he'd ult and that was it. He had no ability to ricochet or boomerang blade properly in fights because of the Braum, because he was out of mana, those kind of different things all added up. And he's one of the only Sivirs in the world that is going Infinity Edge over Essence Reaver.
And stress, game one of the series was these Australia standard lanes, and it played to the H2K dual lane fiddle, where Febiven takes a tower by bullying and dominating his lane. Now that took, what was it, 9 or so minutes? And I want to take a close look at whether or not Febiven and Vander can maintain that level of control.
I just saw something interesting in terms of mechanics in mid lane. Febiven, because he had Deathfire Touch, auto-attacked Ryu, and because it was ticking down, he walked in front of the tower and just got hit by the tower. So that's just like a small thing. It's like, how comfortable are you with the Cassiopeia? Because it's a different play style from everything he's been playing in this series. So a couple teething problems in the first couple levels.
Yeah, I think Febby should be okay on it.
I think he's all right.
I think that's just, man, you're giving him a hard time here. He's like, we're going to mark you down, home crowd.
If he goes 0-10 later, I'll be like, ha, called it.
I think that's quite intense, as Gamsu already getting the advantage of Odoamne. So, 2 lanes that Fnatic can win. That is Febiven into Ryu, as well as Gamsu into Odo, but at somewhat of the cost of Rekkles into Febiven. Look at that 8 CS difference already between those ADCs because of how defensive Rekkles and Klaj have to play.
And it's the same thing that we saw in game number 1, H2K powering down that 2v2, making sure that they had the advantage. Of course, for Fnatic, Rekkles and Klaj, not really too much can happen in this setup. Both exhausts, no real kill pressure from either support or the other. Rekkles wants time to get his first item, Febiven just wants to shove. Bottom lane is the first point of contention. Gamsu, he's got to run.
He puts down the pillar, but doesn't help him a whole lot. Flash from Odoamne as well. But Spirit's now coming into the fight. He tells Gamsu to go back in. But that's the first blood over to Jankos. The first blood king has arrived.
It looked perhaps like Fnatic wanted to try and take that fight. The problem was Gamsu didn't have the damage and dropped too low, and H2K just took him out. So it was a little slow off the mark for Spirit to get down there and group up, and Fnatic get punished.
And the last time Jankos got first blood in the previous game, they went on to win it. I'm calling it now at 5 minutes. Let's see what H2K can do with the rest of this. But I think it's very important for Jankos in particular to have a good start, because it's just how night and day his performances have been over the last 2 weeks.
Oh, if that's it, I'm not needed here. I'm just going to take a headset off and walk out. I'll see you in game 5. But H2K right now, deja vu. Vander is going to try and interrupt again. This time not going to happen.
The winter's back. There you go.
Yeah. I'm going to get less excited for this one.
Yeah.
The first, the level 1 was
It's
a little
Spirit,
more
though.
enticing, but Spirit wants to try help out.
Yeah, maybe get more excited, or not.
Yeah, I mean, I'll go with or not, if you don't mind. But it is still the same scenario with Fnatic being pushed in. Take a quick look at what that first blood actually means. Odo got some breathing room. He was being bullied and pushed in really, really heavily. Still down in a lot of CS, and no flashes for both of those top lanes. And Febiven, despite pushing Ryu earlier, has not farmed himself up a big CS advantage. There's a wave that Ryu should be able to catch most of, yeah.
Yeah, there's actually a very big wave going towards Ryu, so not going to be a big difference. Top lane though, nice block from Vander. Good timing on the Unbreakable. And Fnatic are able to push away from the tower. But yeah, big CS lead in H2K's lane, however, was given.
Yeah, Spirit on the other side is just going to utilize how far pushed up Febiven is. Now it allows Febiven to be safe here. He hugs the bottom side of his lane. Big wave pushed out means that this Ryze can't really come past it, and now Jankos has been spotted on a ward, so fairly safe for Fnatic to play on the bottom side of the map here, and Spirit goes, okay, I don't even have to leave the jungle now, I just take away the bottom side. Now does Jankos go into the enemy top side? That's what Febiven, look at it.
Odo, he opted to engage with the Maelstrom. Gamsu's healing up. He's going to pick up the kill. Subjugate says you shall not pass. And Spirit will help Gamsu on the tower.
What was that engage out of Odoamne right there? He looked like he was just trying to bait him perhaps into the tower, but he was way too far away for that. Odo thought he was stronger than he was. Subjugate comes out.
I think what he was thinking was Gamsu was low on mana. He can't use a full rotation on me in a trade, and I can Arcane Smash him into the tower even if he pillars, but he didn't Arcane Smash into his third ability, and Gamsu had enough for Frozen Domain, so you lose automatically, and then he was committed.
You lose automatically, and that's
Gentlemen,
the end of that
gentlemen, the potential dive being set up from H2K. This was the mistakes that Origin was able to punish last weekend. This time around, Fnatic have decided to back away. There was no one really in range to support, and no teleport from Gamsu either.
Yeah, no real ability to fight from Fnatic. Look at where Spirit is on the map. He's busy taking away the red buff, so he'll be like, hey guys, I got that red. And Rekkles will be like, well, we just lost the tower for it. I hope you feel that's worthwhile in this trade. But certainly, you highlighted the area there that H2K looking to set up these dives. That time they didn't want it because they didn't have a Kindred ultimate, and really couldn't dive it, but Fnatic conceded the tower. And H2K, this is starting to become a mirror of Game 1.
And Spirit, he's still in the enemy jungle. It's just like, there's no crooks there because you took them like 30 seconds ago.
Remember, Odo's got no flash and Gamsu's winning, so I think they're going for it.
Preemptive pillar, Spirit's looking for more CC, but unfortunately it's Trundle, so he'll get a little bit more down. Oh, Odoamne goes back in and pops the eventual Maelstrom. This time it works out, and in the 1-on-2.
I'm not sure why Gamsu gets under the tower there. He didn't have his flash available either, and just stands in the Maelstrom as it's accrued all of that additional damage. It's soaking it up, and bang, down goes Gamsu in that bottom lane. Spirit didn't have the damage himself. Oh no, Spirit's so low.
I don't want this, I want to get out. He flashes over the wall, quick draw, but Jankos is going to follow him. He's trying to chase him down. One more auto attack will proc the bark.
Looking for Dance of Arrows. Jankos, how hungry are you? Not going to find it this time round, and flash for flash in junglers.
But what that does mean right now is that he does have access to the bottom side jungle, so he's forced Spirit out. He gets the flash, has to expend his own, but now he's able to regenerate a little bit of that farm difference that Spirit had opened up from the top side. Fnatic are pushing top at the same time. Odoamne is on his way up to try and stop that, and I believe he's going to get there in time for this wave, but on the next wave, Fnatic should be able to get that.
Still a tower advantage for H2K, even if Fnatic secure the top one. BF Sword and Pickaxe for Forgiven, so we'll be going that Infinity Edge route that we've come to expect from Forgiven. He does not abide by traditional ADC itemization trains of thought. Gamsu will be securing this top tower. Look at the bottom inner though, because Forgiven and Vander, they've not let off. They're still pushing. Look at how much damage they've taken down. Look at that, 50% of the HP before Fnatic can respond.
Yeah, just good rotation. Spirit only now arrives and he can try and push them out of the jungle, but H2K just finding these small advantages, and I found in this series there's always been that bottom inner tower. That's always been the one to suffer.
Oh, gotta leave it alone at some point, guys.
Yeah.
You gotta let
Or alternatively, if Fnatic had double TP or whatever, they could respond in a different way. So, pretty heads-up play from H2K and slow reaction from Fnatic.
But this is the type of style that Fnatic have seen success with here in Rotterdam, as the crowd, I'm sure you can hear them winding up.
They certainly are trying to get that little wave.
Ooh, flash!
Oh.
Petrifying Gaze doesn't stun anybody. It's not over yet. Flash from Klaj. They really want Ryu. Twin Bang is poisoning Ryu down. Febi gets the kill. A lot thrown in for that one.
That was the flash into the ultimate from Febiven, so Ryu had the time to react to it. On Cassiopeia, you can actually ult and then flash to cancel the animation and still get the stun off. So Febiven, a little bit antsy, but they still get the kill on Ryu. They still pick him off. That's going to translate into the middle tower going down. H2K have just lost that all-important mid.
A lot of resources thrown into that play, but they still picked up the tower and a kill, which is ultimately a really good trade. That's evened up the goal totals. Exactly 2 towers to 2 right now.
Yeah, exactly 2 towers to 2. We'll see where it exactly goes for Fnatic. Febiven just bought an Abyssal Scepter outright from nothing, and now he's there. So, man, that was a lot of gold stacked on that Cassiopeia.
Look at me, Febiven says. I am in charge now. As he returns back to lane with no combat stats yet from Ryu.
Never look in the eye, okay? Only through a mirror. You don't want to get caught.
That's what Febi wants. He wants everybody to look at him. He can get that advantage. Other big items picked up. Odo's got the Sunfire Cape to deal with Gamsu for the time being, while Febiven is being pushed a little bit out of lane by Rekkles in that bottom lane. Febiven 120 against the 104 CS that Rekkles has accrued. And the first dragon again goes the way of H2K. I feel like they've got first dragon every match this game, every game this series. I'd have to double check that with Spellsy.
Indeed.
I'm sure he'll tell you in just a second.
I'm hoping so. That was the prompt.
Okay. Well,
you know we have a button to do that.
yeah.
You can press the button.
but
not
If you can hear me right now,
Yes, this is one of those like...
bestow upon me the stats.
Let's play along. Let's play along with the viewers. That's what we're looking for. So we'll find out in a moment or two. Anyways, taking stock, even on gold, 400 separates, 2-2 in kills, 2-2 in towers. Only the dragon difference for H2K.
There is that Infinity Edge that we were talking about earlier, and you know, the other knock-on effect is not only the mana that really he's going to be missing, but don't neglect the cooldown reduction. Is when you have Essence Reaver plus the Zeal item, you get that extra cooldown. 30% cooldown reduction off a Sivir ultimate is a big amount of time that you can't have that ult to just go aggressive, and if you waste it a couple of times like Febiven did, unfortunately, no disrespect, yeah, you're gonna just suffer in team fights.
That's exactly what I was gonna say, because if you're just like throwing them out willy-nilly, then you really want them to count when you use them. So maybe that's the change that they're gonna make in this game. But yeah, Febiven first item Infinity has going to do a lot of damage at least.
Yeah, that is definitely the case. We need to keep track of his mana pool and just how much wave clear he's going to bring to the table. Trinity Force is getting closer for Rekkles. He's prioritized those Sork shoes slightly earlier than maybe sometimes we see. Just a difference in build. And once that Triforce is completed with Gamsu and Febiven already, that is a very scary Fnatic team comp at this stage of the game.
Trevor, the omnipotent Spellsy, has confirmed it has been first dragon of every game going over to H2K in this series, so you were correct on your assumption. Spirit, ooh, found Jankos, but does he really want this?
He'll get into the line as well. A flash over the wall from Gamsu. An instant response with a flash of Jankos from his own, but he stuck around because he really wanted that buff from the Herald.
And what a difference in approach for both of the teams now that we're in Game 4. Game 1 and 2, it was patient, it was slow, controlled, and nearly no skirmishes. This time around, everybody's like blowing the flash the instant a target is available. Both teams are hungry to close the series out, or at least pick themselves up another win to force that deciding game if you're H2K.
Thing is, for H2K, they couldn't really afford to take any kind of skirmish or fight, because down in the bottom lane, Febiven was quietly accruing himself a lead there on the Sivir, pushing bottom out, 151 to 128 now on the CS. And Febiven at this point, you know, as soon as he starts to group with the team, that's where you've got to watch for how H2K play these team fights. They've faltered in games 1 and 2. Now they're playing you know, something that is more of the utility AD carry until you get that Critiche going through a team fight. So Febiven, his decision making now is going to cost his team potentially, or be the turning point to win a team fight.
And the same token, the age-old debate of how quickly will Odo get the QSS versus the Trundle top? What sort of impact is that going to have in terms of that 1v1? It is something that is very hotly debated. Blue buff was stolen away by Jankos, I believe, in that little contest.
Yep.
And Spirit peeled away, and Fnatic once again. Look, every single time Febiven pushes a lane, the rest of H2K are invading to put wards down. They're enabling that pressure, and it is allowing for him to maintain the CS advantage.
This is definitely the closest early game we've had out of both of these teams. Usually someone has a significant advantage, but this is basically dead even. And now we just have to look at like where the gold is distributed and how the stats are stacking up. Specifically Jankos, he's now on 3 stacks in the mark for Kindred, so in a pretty decent place at 15 minutes.
And I want to expand on that because technically this Cassio was the lane prefer, the lane dominant champion into the Ryze. And obviously we saw what Trundle could do until the misstep, the poorly timed dive where Gamsu donated a kill to Odoamne. So some small misplays in Fnatic aren't as ahead when maybe they should have been.
But you've also,
listen, Jankos takes 2 tower shots. That's a very late ult.
and all Klaj got there was like a spell shield that came from Febiven on that engage. That's really all he got, and lost all of his health and his flash for it in that situation. So over-aggressive on a target that they hadn't put the shield from.
But will this secure the tower? That's the question. Gamsu's going toe-to-toe with Odo up top and trying to shove the wave in. The rest of H2K, they've backed away. So it did not secure the objective. No summoner spells were traded by H2K, and they got the flash and the heal from Rekkles and Klaj, respectively. And all of a sudden, Fnatic, they're now playing again defensively. Well, Gamsu, oh, he's caught out.
Oh, Jankos has found him. Do not have those flashes, but Gamsu, he has to walk around his own pillar. And Jankos will take him down.
Oh dear.
Instant regret.
That's the kind of pillar that you're like, ah, oh, well, I was dead anyway. I'm gonna set this as a monument.
Yeah. It ended up being a monument to Gamsu's death. 1-3-1 on that Trundle. Farming very well, but not really that big split push threat that we come to expect. And interesting that both of these teams have kind of like stalled out this mid game because of the fact that there's actually a lot of towers still standing.
This is just Gamsu being far too far up in the enemy jungle. Look at it, none of his team are around. Nobody's even on the top side of the map for Fnatic, and Gamsu's like, I'm gonna take the Braum. That's what I want from this right now.
He's also very squishy because instead of Titanic, he went for Ravenous for the sustain as well in that lane. So if someone's ganking you, you're going to die very fast, which is what we just saw.
Yeah, and he's also like, I just want to clear these waves out in front of me. I just want to try and push the Maokai back as much as possible. Now he's building towards you know, the Glacier crowd. Oh, mid lane Febiven, the damage though.
Yeah, he backs away and a lot of damage in return from Ryu, because as soon as the Petrifying Gaze doesn't land, you can just turn around as Ryze. Like, Cassiopeia doesn't have anything really else there. Jankos flashes into the pit, but he's going to try and dance of arrows over the wall. Oh, the interrupt from Klaj was beautiful.
It's not done yet. Rekkles is looking for more. Gets the exhaust from Vander. Vander's going to stand behind me on a minion. Fnatic will pick up the dragon and the kill. Very good play from Klaj.
Yeah, Klaj being able to interrupt there cost Jankos his life. Jankos didn't even have his ultimate, or at least didn't use it in that fight. Spirit in the middle lane, Febiven.
He's being chased down. Oh, the Q will be blocked out from Febiven, and I've got more auto-attacks to throw at you. And he will actually pop his heal there. Ryu is now caught out, and there's no heal coming in from his AD carry to save him. But Odoamne's there as well. Comes out with the Q, comes out with the damage. The Vengeful Maelstrom not even being popped yet. Klaj is going to have to make a hasty retreat.
He's running for his life. The Boomerang Blade rattles across Fnatic, and Febiven was left untouched in that choke point, helped secure the kill.
And the difference there is Fnatic were not ready to fight in that situation. Febiven right now, no mana on him, sat on 1500 gold, does not have his tier item fully stacked or even completed to try and get that Archangel. So it was just a teleport in from Odoamne, set up the fight from the side and allowed them to save Ryu and turn that fight back around.
So no teleports for H2K. Yes, they're marginally in the lead. We'll talk about that in a moment because H2K, they're sieging the tower. Febi's running out of mana. Will allow him to just clear the wave shortly. No TPs for H2K. Gamsu's got his available. And I really want to see how well he can split push with this Ravenous Hydra instead of Titanic, because I think it's a slightly different itemization, and he has that play once more.
Yeah, certainly difference. This was the interrupt on Jankos as he was going over. And now Fnatic turn their attention down onto Vander and the Dragon. They split focus, which is fine. They get the Dragon. Vander was running out anyway. They even got the exhaust from him. But here's where it started to go a little bit wrong for Fnatic, trying to chase over. Importantly, you just saw in the middle lane, in the bottom part of your screen, they just took the mid tower. So here, look at it. Fnatic want to go aggressive, but Febiven off at the side, fairly low mana. Gamsu goes into this choke point. Again, the pillar here is not blocking his way out, but as soon as he starts to go aggressive, that's when H2K come back up, and he can't really back away through the pillar that effectively. And from here, Fnatic are just like, well, we don't want the rest of this fight. Gamsu's down. We don't want this. This has not been the best of performances for Gamsu.
And this is very hard for Fnatic in team fights as well, because Odoamne is such a big wall of health that as soon as he turns up, especially in choke point, they couldn't hit anyone else other than Odoamne. So you just kind of auto-lose that situation, whereas Gamsu, he's very squishy, and he's not a tank right now.
You've got a Maokai that is very well farmed, starting to get fed, and has the tools to lock down Febiven, which will allow the rest of H2K to take him out. Febiven's got himself that rapid fire cannon, second item after Eye-Edge. Really wants to get those crits flying across all of Fnatic.
And wants to keep himself a little bit safer, throw out from a distance, make sure he can chase down those targets a little more effectively. Gamsu, though, has not built for any kind of skirmish or fighting as like a grouped team. And Fnatic have been dragged into that a couple of times now. In the last few minutes, Fnatic had to have that skirmish in the bottom side. Hello. Whoa! Forced to flash away because On the Hunt was used by Febiven. They were looking to engage there, trying to catch him. So Klaj flashes preemptively, doesn't want to get locked down again.
Yeah, it just looked funny because we didn't see the setup, so he's like, he's just joining his team. It's like, I want to be there too.
It's one of those things where we need to find out, does another play happen in the next few minutes? That means that Klaj's flash or On the Hunt comes back to bite them. Gamsu's going to take a very easy tower.
And this is the opening that Gamsu's been looking for the entire game long. No teleports available for H2K means that now that Gamsu's shoved the bottom lane out, he can continue to push and force somebody to come and try and deal with him. And that then opens up teleport advantage. Gamsu can join the fight, whereas H2K can't.
It will be progressively harder for him to actually take inner turrets, though. The outer turret at 21 minutes is fairly easy to take. But yes, he will carry on pushing and keep that pressure down. H2K currently don't have their teleports, meaning Gamsu can stay in the bot lane and actually apply pressure when Baron is actually on the board, and I just saw some pings towards it.
Wow, that's exactly what Gamsu is doing, trying to pull pressure. Odo's sustaining a lot of this damage, got the Sunfire, got the Glacial. In actual fact, somewhat turning it around. The passive from Odo is working wonders. Subjugate comes up from Gamsu, will buy some time, but not a lot. Jankos decides to come join the fight, but look at the rest of Fnatic. They're going to make a play for Baron. Gamsu will give up his life as Jankos secures the 3rd kill, and the rest of Fnatic, they're on Baron.
Well, this is the gambit that Fnatic were trying to make, but immediately H2K are able to ward them away with those 3-man stack, and then they have to back off. So I'm not sure about that one.
The thing is, Fnatic don't really have a viable tank for Baron right now, especially not without Gamsu being there. Gamsu dies and suddenly Spirit's half health trying to do a Baron. Alistar would have to ult to try and keep himself alive, and that's not exactly the best situation because you need that for the fight that's going to surely come when H2K are like, guys, they're on Baron, let's double TP in, or at least Odo had his available. So Fnatic give away the kill for not much in response right now. So H2K still slightly ahead, or at least have just got slightly ahead. Very even game.
It feels like the tools, though, that H2K have are becoming stronger. This Maokai is becoming real beefy. Gamsu can't bully him around. Gamsu's 1-5-1. And he's going to just melt if he's ever caught in the middle of the H2K squad. So it's a difficult situation for Fnatic at 24 minutes, despite being even in gold. And I really don't know who's going to kill Odo. I don't know who's going to have the damage over time. Febiven won't be given the time to do it.
Yeah. There's no percent damage, which is the big issue. And Gamsu, yeah, he can duel him one-on-one when he has Subjugate, but we saw that it takes so long, even with that, then someone can just walk down from mid lane and kill you. They have no answer. I totally agree.
Yeah, it could be tough without that real answer, but the thing is, we haven't seen Febi hit anything recently. So we don't have the true scale on where his damage is right now, and certainly over a prolonged period of time, if that petrifying gaze, God, that is difficult to say.
There's a lot of syllables.
I'm glad I'm
But let's say hypothetically, looking at the items, got Seraph's Embrace completed, Abyssal, as well as the needlessly large rod and another Amp Tome. How much damage do you think Febi actually has, Stress? I'll have to answer that quickly because it looks like a fight may happen.
I'll let him answer it himself because it looks like this is going to kick off.
And there's the sapling, Odoamne, looking for this fight to open up. Spirit, he starts off the dragon. And Jankos, he's going back and forth on the hunt being used. Odoamne goes in. Gamsu, he's going to be flashing away from him. Klaj pops the ultimate. He's not being killed for now. Dragon is still under contest. Fnatic do secure it. Odoamne jumps in. He's so tanky. Jankos, 1v1 duel against Spirit. He's trying to edge him outside of the circle.
It's not going to be enough just yet. Spirit finally goes down once the respite ends. Febiven is still holding on to the petrifying gaze. Oh! It misses! Febiven does not find a target, and Klaj loses his life because of it. Febi's in full retreat. Exhausted, your damage does not matter through that summoner spell, and H2K win the ensuing fight.
Oh, Fnatic held on to the ult for so long, and it's because H2K broke themselves apart in that fight. They had 2 split fights, and there is no real good opportunity for Febi to hit an ult. The point at which a Cassio is trying to flash ult over a wall into a team that's kiting down shows you the difficulty of actually getting a good ultimate. Febi would have to step too far forward here, and Febiven is going to respect it the entire fight by holding on to his spell shield. So here is the split fight. Spirit over at the side, and look, it's a bunch of 3 and a group of 2 over at the side as well. So Fnatic, as they're peeling back, Febi has to try and do something here as H2K are grouping. Ryu turns, it's just not quick enough.
And now Baron has been started off from H2K as a response. Gamsu is trying to get involved. Rekkles, Klaj's there, but that's really Jankos finding the Baron. Gamsu is now being chased down, but Febiven did trade his life for this.
Gamsu's got himself a double and he's still not dead. Survives on top of the W as H2K now starting to retreat. 3 members with Baron, and Fnatic, they're flashing for more. Klaj's got his available, but I don't think there's any targets.
Ooh,
no, Fnatic
nice
the kills. Unbreakable comes up from Vander. Will buy some time. H2K lose 2, but secure Baron.
Yeah, it was just if Klaj wanted to pull the trigger there with Flash, if they could pick any more up, but I like him holding it there, it's important.
Yeah, I like him holding it at that point as well. Look, this was the setup that we missed here. Look at how fast this is dying here to H2K. Fnatic want to try and come in, but keep an eye on the minimap. Where's Febiven? Oh, he's just respawned. At this point, he wasn't anywhere near. Couldn't be there. Neither was Spirit for this whole setup. Maybe if Fnatic had been together, they would have been able to do anything here, but as they try and chase down, Rekkles even used his flash to try and go aggressively over the wall because he knew they had to get more from this. They just gave away the Baron, and it's still active on 3 of the 5 members.
Well, that is a big swing in this game and this series with that Baron going over to H2K. Currently, the Baron power play not so strong after that ensuing fight, but now they have the opportunity to take some of these inner turrets from Fnatic.
And all of the momentum Fnatic have built up from games 1 and 2. Is it falling by the wayside? Is it coming apart? H2K looked broken to start the series, and now they are the ones in charge in game 4. H2K still have to do it again if they want to win the series, though. There is still another hurdle to be jumped by either squad, in fact.
I've got to say, mental fatigue is something that I'll be setting in about now. These have been very stressful games and very stressful wins for both teams. But they're holding strong currently. Febiven, you can't discount the Cassiopeia though, late game. It's a lot of damage.
Well, it's going to be difficult to get through those minions. Baron buff, still for another minute for H2K. And Fnatic need to get in real close to get that wave clear from Spirit. Look at this, top inner turret will be falling without contest.
H2K have been playing really well around the Cassiopeia, though, in this game. They've never really been grouping for a multi-person ult. I mean, Febi's been trying to reach and get ultimates on a target that has a spell shield as well. The later this game goes on as well, you're going to probably see the QSS come out as well, and it'll get even more difficult for Febi to get good ults on multiple people, and that means his damage is going to be fairly reduced.
Yeah, that's definitely the case. 25 seconds before Baron wears out. H2K grouped up as a 5-man in the middle lane. Teleports are available as well, so they can continue to play around the map as much as they want. Jankos going to continue to add stacks to that passive as he moves into the jungle and the rest of H2K in a commanding position.
Commanding position, they want to look for mid as well. Just keep on piling on the pressure. Fnatic having difficulty clearing. Klaj tried to go in.
Well, let's take a look how the fight plays out. On the hunt used just to provide some wave clear, some utility. Fnatic give up the presence on the tower, and this should mean the tower for H2K.
And again, though, Klaj tries to go aggressive with the flash play on Alistar and does not find enough of a target to lock people down, and Fnatic right now are in a rough spot.
Yes, they certainly are. H2K return to the lane. Actually, didn't have the minions to work with, so they've caught Spirit. Spirit's rooted in place. It will not go down just yet.
H2K still sieging up the mid lane, but they realize that they're just hitting a brick wall, so they have to back away here. And they'll just disperse back into their jungle. Dragon is up in 1 minute. That's got pinged out from H2K, so they're going to start setting up this preemptive vision.
Let's find out how they use that vision. 30 minutes, gentlemen. 3,000 gold separates these teams. It is H2K in the lead. 1 tower up, despite being a dragon down, but they secured the purple worm of Baron. That's what allowed them to be in control, and there's the QSS.
There is the QSS.
The first of many, I'm sure.
We'll see if it's responsible for the downfall of Gamsu in this game. There is 6 kills have gone over to H2K at Gamsu's feet, though, unfortunately. Gamsu not had the best series outside of his Echo games.
Yeah.
And maybe that was the linchpin for Fnatic, was getting Gamsu that Echo, which is so good at setting up the team fights. And this game, I don't want to say he's lost the plot, but he certainly has been trying to fight while very squishy. It's only now that he's really started to get any kind of resistance. He's trying to just bank on stealing a lot.
And how pivotal is it that Gamsu overstepped the second gank? Gamsu had some support from Spirit very, very early on and just went under the tower, giving a kill to Odo. That just, it seemed to reset the entire tempo of that lane.
Yeah, well, there was disrespect from both top laners in that one-on-one because Odoamne jumps in and then Gamsu's like, I can trade easily against this, and then vice versa, he just jumps in. There's the pillar out from Gamsu, and Spirit's going to put down the smoke screen, tries to come for the steal, doesn't quite get it. Now he's a little overextended, but Odoamne is separated from his team. He needs to try and get around this wall, but Fnatic are stopping him from doing that, and they're pulling the trigger.
Odoamne is looking for an engage, throws down the vengeful maelstrom. It's Klaj that's caught Jankos, but it simply may not matter. Glacial Fissure will buy some time for H2K to reposition. Spirit flashes away defensively, and here comes Rekkles. It was a reckless move with the package, costing him his life. There is at least 1 kill back onto Vander. Follow Gamsu as he's being focused down by 2 AD carries. It's a double kill for Jankos. A flash onto Febiven. Petrifying Gaze has already been used, but Ryu will run him down, prisons him with the rune, and Fnatic are in trouble.
Fnatic in major trouble, and again, H2K offer no real opening for Febiven to turn this fight around. Odo's going top. He wants to push this.
Oh man, he's going in onto Spirit. He's got all those minions helping him as well. Ventral Maelstrom, but now Ryu's there as well. He comes in with the Ventral Maelstrom and the W and the Ace out for Ryu and H2K.
Fnatic have 30-second death timers. Inhibitors can be exposed. H2K, they can look to finish the game. They've turned their attention to a Nexus turret.
And now with the minions as well, there's nothing that's going to stop them. Klaj has respawned, but now the Nexus turrets are falling. First one goes down, looking towards the second, and Klaj, he's going to try and defend. Rekkles is now here as well.
This is going to get close, but H2K are in a 4-on-1. They're focusing down the Nexus. Rekkles does not have the tools to deal with it. And engaged from Odo. The Nexus goes down, and ahoy Rotterdam! We're going to game